Hello there folks, and welcome to another video. Now, I'm a little bit late to the party, but let's have a little chat about Automobilista 2 version 1.6, and these are just my initial thoughts after a few hours of testing, and it's only testing on a single screen just now. The reason for that is I am waiting on new Hans VR lenses for my Oculus Rift S, so I will do a little bit of a video on VR as well once these arrive. So if you've read the changelog for version 1.6, you will know that it is an absolutely massive changelog, a heck of an update this one. So I am mainly going to talk about graphics, AI, audio and force feedback in this video, but that is still quite a lot to cover. So the car that I will be using in this video is this lovely MCR S2000, one of my favourite cars to drive in AMS2. Overall, it's a very lightweight car, so even though it doesn't have an enormous amount of power, it does have a formidable power to weight ratio and manages to feel really fast in AMS2. The MCR is responsive, agile and quick. It doesn't have tons of power, but will produce fast lap times due to its low weight and high grip. One of the key characteristics is its use of an open differential, which makes it relatively unstable off throttle. It is very easy to run into lift-off oversteer. If you are not careful, this can turn into a big slide or spin. However, with practice, you can make use of this as a way to make the car turn in faster. If you time it right, you can lift gently right as you start turning into the apex and then gently get back on the power, something I am trying to do in this video. So folks, for this test we have a 6-lap race at Bathurst. What I've done is accelerated the time over these 6 laps to give us a day-night-day transition. We have 27 cars on the grid and I'm starting last. The race starts around about 4 PM. Looks like I got a fairly reasonable start there. And the usual TV replay is in the box on the right hand side, and what I'll do is I'll put the full TV replay with no commentary at the end of this video if you want to watch it. It really does show off the beautiful graphics and AI making what I think are pretty realistic moves. As with any game update, it is really a collection of subtle little differences which all add up to make quite the difference in AMS2. So the first thing to mention is some of the track changes that I noticed whilst making this video. I can see from the changelog that they added pit control lights to all tracks, they adjusted the tyre smoke coloration and toned down the overblown ambient, and they adjusted object LODs for this track at Bathurst. There's also an increased baseline grip slightly at concrete tracks. Now, I'm assuming this is classed as a concrete track, but I certainly felt there was a bit more grip than previous to version 1.6. And as far as the TV replays go, there's an improved depth of field for these trackside TV cameras, and I could definitely notice that as well. Now you'll notice we're starting to get a slight pink hue to the sky now, so night is not too far off. Time to get the headlights on. And I have to say, in AMS2, once it gets dark, the headlights look absolutely incredible at night time now. Just look at that stunning skybox, isn't that absolutely beautiful? Some of the changes to vehicles that I noticed in this race as well. Added visible tyre wear and flat spotting to all tyre treads. Now, I lock up a few times during this race, so I definitely noticed that. Adjusted backfiring properties for all vehicles. Now, this is something that I really noticed. Now, I don't know if it's indicative of this car, and obviously I can't go back to version 1.5 and listen to what it sounded like, but when I'm just rolling along off throttle, Certainly at the end of the race you can really hear the car burbling and backfiring. They also increased the resolution of various vehicle LCD display fonts. Now, I haven't got any cockpit views in this particular video, but I did notice it when practicing that the instruments looked an awful lot clearer and sharper. Adjusted car material reflection dynamics to produce slightly deeper reflections. I can see that for sure. The reflections look deeper to me. So talking about graphics and the big long list that was in the changelog for changes to graphics, now things that I noticed in this video were definitely revised lighting properties for all climates. I just think the lighting, I can't put my finger on exactly what it's different, but it looks fantastic and there's definitely something different about it. Adjusted live track properties, including adjusted wet and rubbered racing line glossiness. Now, obviously this race is not in the wet, however, once the racing line gets really rubbered in, it definitely has a much more sheen to it. Now you can see that at night time here with the brake lights reflecting on the road, especially around about the racing line. Overhauled tyre smoke dynamics and toned down overblown ambient lighting. Yep, well, like I say, I'm noticing that as well. Increased the number of spark particles that are emitted, adjusted the dynamics of the sparks particles, and increased bloom produced by sparks. Well, can I notice that? Probably. And they also say they've adjusted the road racing line to be more visually distinct from the rest of the track when rubbered and wet. So you can definitely see it when it's rubbered there. You can see the racing line, absolutely no problem here at night with the headlights on. Just look at the beautiful lighting as we're coming up the start-finish straight, and we can look over to the pits on our left-hand side there. Now there's one of these lockups I was talking about earlier. So lap number 3 and we are up to position 12. One of the things I absolutely love is the way that they have added a static full map. I did not like the rotating map. It's hard to sort of glance at and visualize where you are. Much better with this full circuit map in the top right hand corner. It's so much easier just to have a quick look at it. You can see your position, you see I'm number 12 there just now, you can see where all the other cars are, and it's much easier to read. So let's move on to the physics. Some of the things that I noticed from the changelog. Complete tyre physics revision for advanced hysteresis and thermodynamics modelling. Well, I've no idea what half of that means, but it definitely feels a lot better to me with the tyre physics. Revised tyre wear and degradation rates for all tyre treads, dry and wet. Revised aerodynamics for all vehicles. Revised brake torque thermodynamics for all vehicles. Revised dirty air effects, I felt that. Revised torque, compression curves, engine consumption and thermodynamics for all vehicles, and minor force feedback revisions to all vehicles to better suit latest physics revisions. Now, I am running with default plus profile here. I have got the custom force feedback that everyone's talking about, the rack custom force feedback file. I have tried it, I do like it, so I'm kind of going between the two, default plus and the rack one. However, I think the force feedback is absolutely incredible now. Do I think it's as good as R Factor 2? That's my favourite force feedback over the past few years. It's getting close, it's getting very close. So lap 4 and we are up to position 10. The AI are definitely giving me a good fight here. One thing I do notice, and I had to do this with version 1.5 as well, is on my T300, which is the base I use on my PC rig, I have to put the force feedback up to about 115% or so. 100% does not feel right, I always have to increase it a little bit, but that's not an issue. Now let's chat a little bit about AI. Now here's a nice little pack of 4 to demonstrate how good the AI is and how we can have some good close racing. Now some of the things that I've seen from the changelog on AI are extensive AI calibration pass for all classes in both dry, wet and damp conditions, revised AI tyre wear, degradation rates along with effects on pit stop strategy decisions, extended range of AI performance to cover a wider range of player skill levels. AI now loses performance from running on both cold and overhot tyres. Slightly increased AI overtaking risk assessment thresholds for faster cars. Adjusted AI behaviour in first lap to be less erratic and generally more competitive than before. Look at this for having trust in the AI. There's 4 of us here, very, very close racing. There's 5 of us now, and we are not even scraping paint. More AI changes. Added logic for AI to prioritise the inside line into the next braking zone while attempting to overtake. AI will now cover the inside line when trying to defend from being overtaken. AI will now have occasional minor deviations from the optimal racing line depending on driver-specific AI skill, and fixed an issue where sometimes AI would start a defensive movement to the wrong side if their line from previous corner to the next corner was in a diagonal vector. Improved AI mistakes. Added new functions to prevent AI hesitating and losing momentum in AI versus AI overtakes. Now, I definitely think the AI has improved, however, I have seen some very, very strange behaviour. Sometimes during this race, I thought it was pretty good during this race, but I did one before, which I think was at Laguna Seca, and it was in the dry, and every single car came in the pits after lap 1. Very, very odd. However, during this race, you'll notice on the hairpin just before the straight, I was pretty much always able to go down the inside and take at least 1 or 2 spaces, and the AI did not seem to get wise to that at all, and they didn't defend down the inside at all. Now, let's have a little chat about the audio. Now, things from the changelog regarding audio. Extensive revision of car sound effects. Added and revised various trackside sound effects, crowds, announcers, water and nature sounds to all track layouts as appropriate. Implemented local reverb zones for all tracks and layouts in the game. Increased max allowed playable audio samples for systems supporting large grids. Added options to configure a number of opponent samples. Revised wind noise sound effect. Added dedicated wind volume slider. Wall reflections, progression and volume very near walls adjusted. Now, I definitely loved the sound in this race. From the engine sounds to the rumble strips to the sounds of the other cars outside of my cockpit, it all sounds absolutely brilliant. Reiza have made great strides here. So hopefully you've noticed we're on the last lap now, and we have clawed our way right back up into 5th position, having started from the very back of the grid in 27th place, and we can see the other 4 cars right ahead of us, so we're in for a grandstand of a last lap here, folks, and we can just sit and enjoy it and look at all these improvements that Reiza have made to Automobilista 2 in the 1.6 patch. Look at this close racing that we're managing to have, and watch the AI here. It's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Everybody jostling for position. See that lovely reflection of the brake lights in the circuit down into the twisty downhill section. Not a place for overtaking, really. We'll try one round the outside here, not quite. And we'll see if we can do our old trick down the inside of the hairpin. Here we go. So you see the AI have not got wise to that. So we're up to second, half a lap or so to go. And this guy is giving me a really good fight. I've got the AI at 100, which is round about my sweet spot. So we're just dragging him out here. He's right beside us though. Oh, none of them are very far away at all. This is fantastic stuff. I was rather hoping that it would have started getting light during this last lap, but you will see as we cross the line here to take the win, I've just left the cool down lap running, so as we can see the sky getting lighter, we can appreciate the lovely skybox graphics as the cars come round, and maybe just have some final thoughts on version 1.6. As I was mentioning earlier, any game patch is obviously a large collection of what can seem like very small changes, but when you lump all these together for the full experience, that's when you really feel the benefit. Sometimes it's hard to put your finger on exactly what has changed, but you know that something has changed, and something for the better as well. So I think as we just come up round here, yeah, I can just start to see it getting a little bit light in the sky. I had the time on acceleration times 60. I should maybe have tried to put it a little bit faster, but yeah, you can see the dawn is breaking now. And doesn't it look absolutely stunning? I'm looking forward to trying some more car and circuit combos in 1.6, and I'm especially looking forward to trying it in VR. I mentioned earlier that I've ordered a set of Hans VR lenses for my Oculus Rift S after having bought some for my PlayStation VR 2 and loving them on that VR headset. Look at that sky there, isn't it lovely, eh? So yes, I did a little video review of that. I'll put a link up in the top corner if you want to go and have a look at what I thought of the Hans VR lenses for PSVR 2. And I ordered a set for the Oculus Rift S, and they should be arriving tomorrow or the day after. I know that they're on the way. So once they arrive and I get them fitted, I will do a video on AMS2 VR in 1.6 and maybe notice the same changes in that as well. Here we are fully back to day now. Look at that mist rolling in, isn't that incredible? Early morning mist rolling across the track there. How far we have come in driving sims, eh? Anyway folks, I hope you enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed making this video for you. If you did like it, then give us a little like, thumbs up below, subscribe to the channel, it all helps, and I will see you in the next video. Cheers for now.